first. You have a
masters.
first like a first class.
Yeah, and brains, eh? Also, maybe I should say a nerd. And then I went on to do a master's in decision sciences, which is sort of like the easiest way to describe it is applied mathematics. My lecturer wanted me to do a PhD, but I thought I better go and work for a while, and then maybe come back. But I never did go back. So I went to work at Unisys for a year on their graduate training scheme as a management consultant, and then after that I worked at PwC, as a management consultant. At some point I left for several reasons. One, the consultancy arm was merging with IBM, and I didn't really want to work for another hardware company doing consulting because you can't really be that independent. And then secondly, I had a child by then, and it's not conducive to family life really. Although in retrospect, I suppose I could have changed and stopped being a consultant, maybe gone into HR or something. But anyway, it was a good opportunity to leave. And the cooking thing, well, I guess I've always cooked, because when I see people that I knew, say when I was at uni, they always seem to remember me by some meal that I cooked for them. And along came social media, and I think I remember I posted a picture of a dish I'd made, but it's because we were having a discussion about squid, and the other person didn't like squid. So anyway, I happened to make some squid and chickpeas, and it generated a lot of comments and discussions. And I don't really know how I got into the habit of posting food. And as a result, people were very encouraging, with the comments, and it made me more creative. I thought a lot more about the presentation of Nigerian food, etc., etc. And then someone said to me, "Oh, you should write a book, even if it's just a picture book." I didn't do that initially. Then I did. I ended up doing it. Nobody knows about that book yet because I haven't published it. It's a huge book.
So what is it?
And then I was invited to Nigeria. This is quite funny. To come and train some executive catering staff of a large organization. And that was scary. I felt like I was taking snow to the Eskimos, going to Nigeria to teach Nigerian chefs how to cook Nigerian food. But I really enjoyed that. And then at some point, I decided to do a smaller book, a much smaller book. The first one is actually huge. It's about 350 pages. And I decided to do a series of books on regional Nigerian food. And as a result of that book, probably I did some work in Nigeria, training staff for a boutique hotel, running their kitchen. That was for about 4 months last year. And then now I'm back in London. So that was the journey, really.
Yeah. I mean, there was a particular period you went to Nigeria to. What did you go to start a restaurant or something?
No, I went to, like I said, it was call it consultancy. It was to go and well, when I say it was to start a restaurant, but not my own restaurant. It was for a hotel, a restaurant in a hotel. And after I finished that one, there was another hotel I was meant to do. But when I came home, as soon as I walked through the door, I just thought, no, this is where I want to be. I want to be in my house. It was quite difficult being away from home for so long. Because it's not like consultancy where I could come home every weekend. I had to be away for months on end.
Okay.
And I've got young children, so I decided I would go back to Nigeria.
I mean, explain the whole idea of what's it called, cooking Nigerian meal to attract a number of Nigerians and foreigners as well into your own house. I mean, because I'm talking with regards to Nigerian pop-up as well. How did you come up with that idea that food creates that whole friendship and commingling between among cultures?
Well, in researching for the first book, I spoke to a lot of people, and I remember one time I was in Abuja.
Yeah.
And I was sitting up with happened to be all guys actually, I think about 4 or 5 men. I think most of them were northerners from different parts of the north. And I'd broken fast with the sister, the family of one of them, I think the day before, and the food was amazing. Because I wasn't very familiar with northern food. And it turned out that what I really liked was the Kanuri food. Actually, was my favorite. And then there was this drink. So there's a kunu. Kunu is like a yogurt drink, but there's so many different types of kunu. So I was saying to him, okay, tell me how to make it. Tell me more. And it was really funny because just 10 minutes before that, everybody was arguing about politics and football. And then once we started talking about food, it was a whole different vibe. It was so much more friendly, very nostalgic. So one person would mention one dish, and the other one would say, "Oh God, yeah, I remember when I had that." Then they would talk about it was bringing back memories for them. And of course, there were a couple of small discussions as to what the dish meant. It was funny though, because each time I said, "Okay, so how do you make it?" They would say, "I don't know, but it's very nice." So I just had to keep writing down the names in the hope that one day I'd find people who would teach me how to make them.
I mean, what's it called? When you come to the realization of how African foods emerge in Western world, yeah, we have a lot of Mamaputs, to put in quotes,
Yeah.
in London. I mean, what makes yours unique in the executive Mamaput?
For years, even when I was a teenager, I always wondered why Nigerian food, because Nigerian food is very delicious, but they are Nigerian restaurants, but you don't often see that many foreigners in there.
Yeah.
I think a lot of foreigners think our food is very spicy. Secondly, I think the way we present it doesn't help. Thirdly, we put in scary things such as...
What do you mean by presentation? I mean, does presentation affect quality of Nigerian food?
No, but it's a perception. If it doesn't look good, nobody's going to want to eat it. If you look at, I mean, let's be frank, if you didn't know what egusi was, looking at egusi, it doesn't look that palatable. Let me not put anyone off their breakfast.
Yeah.
But there are things you can do, for me, it's about texture and colors. So try and make it a little bit more colorful. So, you would add, obviously, quite fresh greens, and I'll put some chopped chilies. So it's, put some prawns in. So it just looks a bit more interesting than a pile of something somebody doesn't know what it is. And what I find also is in a lot of Nigerian restaurants, there's huge chunks of meat. Most of the time, it's not even soft. It's not soft enough to eat. So I guess I've tried to use I've taken into account Western sensibilities without taking away the authenticity of the food. So I've, toned down the chili, cut the meat a bit smaller. But it seems to work. I've had non-Nigerians eating nkwobi, for example, which is cow foot. They like that a lot. Funny enough, egusi soup is the one I use whenever a non-Nigerian asks me what's, they would like to eat something authentically Nigerian. Like egusi is a good one that seems to appeal. Okra soup, most non-Nigerians don't like it, so I don't even bother. I think things like bitter leaf soup are probably an acquired taste because of the ogili, but then some will really like it. Some like white soup, that's easy. Fisherman soup is easy. I actually made fisherman soup in the Middle East, and that went down really well, actually. They were all asking me where I could buy palm oil.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was good. And then, there's some things jollof rice is easy, to sell, to persuade people to eat. It's just knowing what people like. Moi moi, for example, I think it's like my either they like it or they don't. And I think, again, it's a texture thing. But akara, people love it because I guess it reminds them of falafel. And then sometimes what I do is I pair the food in a way that you wouldn't normally expect it. So with akara, for instance, when I had I was doing some regional pop-ups. So, the themes were all different regions. So one was Yoruba, and I did akara. And everyone was waiting for the ogi. But I served it with salad.
Oh, wow.
Some flatbread, hummus.
Yeah.
And salsa verde and a chili sauce. And, a friend of mine said, "Oh my God, what have you done to me? I'm going to go around Lagos now telling akara sellers I want hummus." Because she thought, it worked so well. So it was just a new way to eat it.
Exactly. I mean, would you think Nigerians have a bias towards their own kind of food? They don't want to mix it with other cultural foods. Say, for example, I'm eating akara with hummus. That is going to the extreme or something. Would you say Nigerians are not experimental enough with their foods?
Well, I think a lot of them are not. But what I have shown with these pop-ups that I do is that people are willing to, try new things, and maybe because they trust me, so they'll give it a go.
Hmm.
But it's not so, it's not that different. You may wonder, okay, why did I come up with that? If you think about it, we eat akara with agege bread.
Yeah.
So flat bread is just, it's a different bread. And then because I thought about the falafel, it's sort of similar-ish, it's made from pulses.
Mm.
And they would eat it with chili and hummus and salad. So I didn't see why it couldn't work.
Okay. I mean, so is your you have a pop up, right? I mean,
Mm.
what exactly is the thematic structure behind pop up itself? Are you trying to sell Nigerian food, or are you trying to bring Nigerians together, or are you trying to? I mean, what's the aim behind?
It's all of the above. It's I mean, you've been to them, so they're very, they're social events, they're networking events. People have made friends.
Yeah.
People have even gone on holiday together.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they never invite me though. They meet up, they go for coffees, they go to shows together. It's great, and I think what people have liked is it's probably brought them together with like-minded Nigerians and other people. I mean, as you know, there are also non-Nigerians that come.
Mhm.
The food, of course, is a very important element, and I think especially when I do something that people haven't seen before, it generates conversations.
Yeah.
Over the winter, I mean, we started doing indoor pop-ups, so there was smaller, more intimate gatherings. So we all sat around the table, and that worked very well because people were able to, talk to each other and interact. And then with those ones, I was actually doing foods from different regions, and so some of the dishes, just like when I did the northern, people had never eaten, most of the food before. But they seem to, well, they enjoyed it. I know they enjoyed it because, they come back.
So would you say you know how to cook like every food from every region in Nigeria?
Um, I would even say I know how to cook every food from everywhere in the world.
Really?
Once you describe something to me, or cooking's not that hard. Once you describe something to me, and if I taste it, or if I taste it, I can normally replicate it. Because they're just basics. If you're, for instance, if you're making a sauce, most cultures you use onions, maybe garlic, maybe tomatoes, maybe vegetables. If you're making some sort of sauce, depends. Or you might have to use butter or olive oil. Once you know the basics of cooking, it's actually quite easy to replicate. Recipes. If you're roasting, you just baste it, put it in the oven. You may flavor it with different herbs, depending on what part of the world you're coming from. I think the only cuisine that took a bit of getting used to was when I went through a stage of cooking Japanese food.
Okay.
And because their cooking is quite different from other, a lot of their, let's try to remember the name now, a lot of their food is based around the stock, which is made from seaweed and I think mushrooms. I can't remember the name of the mushroom now. So you normally start with that. So even their soups, that will form the basis of it, and it's not it's not just all sushi they eat other things as well. So that was, I remember the first time I cooked it, the kitchen was a mess because I literally because I hadn't done it before. You don't quite know all the steps. Even when I looked through the recipe, then I realized, oh gosh, I've forgotten this bit. I've got to add that bit. But once I'd done it a few times, then it was fine.
I mean, but what was the? I mean, when dealing with Nigerians, what's the worst experience you've faced with regards to Nigerian pop up? And I know you do orders as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the worst experience you would say you
No, the thing that it's Nigerians at lastminute.com. So like I have a pop up on Saturday, this Saturday.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many people are coming because people have told me they're coming, but they haven't paid yet. Some people who know my house will end up coming and paying me on the day. Some people who've told me they're coming with one person will end up. I have one friend, he's notorious for that. He will end up with 4 people. He'll come with 4 people. I keep trying to explain to him, you need to tell me so I can plan. But because I know that's going to happen, I have a vague idea. I'm going to, I expect around 50 people. So I'll just cook for 50 people. And anyway, it's my house, so it's not like I'm going to run out of food. Worst case scenario, we'll quickly run to the shops and buy some more, you know. So I don't really worry about it. So that's the worst thing for me, really, is because I like to plan things, but it's the inability to be able to plan properly.
Yeah.
Thanks to Nigerians.
I mean, what's own a restaurant or start a restaurant where Nigerians could come and have the same experience they gain in Nigerian pop-up?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that would be my ideal. Find quite a big space. Because I think what people like as well is they can watch me cook. I think they like that open plan of the kitchen, and as you know, people help. Even the guests who've paid end up helping.
Yeah,
and it makes it more sociable. Somewhere with a garden would be ideal. But being London, it's going to be almost impossible to find that, especially in the beginning. So I'm speaking with some people. There's somebody who's interested in investing. So we need to find a property.
Okay.
Hopefully, we'll see. And then if not, that doesn't work out, then maybe I'll try the crowdfunding route or something.
Yeah, I mean that wouldn't be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you think Nigerians relate with food, anyways?
How do we what?
How do you think Nigerians relate with their food? I
think a lot of the time, food for Nigerians is just fuel, to stay alive. So, for instance, we don't really have this culture of, sitting down, having a 3-course meal. Although you can do it with Nigerian food. And I think I realized that at the very first regional pop-up I did, the Hausa one, when I put the starters on the table. And I kept saying, there's a lot more food coming, so pace yourselves. And they didn't. So they were quite full. So I learned from that. So what I do is, with the starters, I plate them rather than put it on the table. And then so I plate some of the things, and then some things I put on the table so people can help themselves. So they're aware that, there's a whole variety, and then you can just try little things out. So I think Nigerians are quite, not all obviously, but many Nigerians are quite, what's a polite word? I was going to say boring about their food. So, if you go to Nigerian parties, for example, you will always see jollof rice, asaro, efori roll, literally.
The normal things.
You can tell, I can probably say, okay, first bowl is going to be jollof, next one is going to be this. And we have such a wide variety of food. I mean, there's at least 250 ethnic groups in Nigeria. There's so many dishes out there that we could, look at the yam that you like so much. Nobody else does that in London, the roast yam.
Exactly.
I've already had a message about it this morning. Make sure there's going to be roast yam. Yeah, there will be, because that's just become so popular now. Everyone loves it. Okay, for example, if you think about this tomato crisis they're having in Nigeria, the way people are crying, you think it's only tomato dishes that we eat in Nigeria. There's so many sauces, they could make without tomatoes. But everyone is fixated on making stew, which I find it quite interesting. I mean, surely it's a good time to try and remember dishes our grandmas used to make and our great grandmas.
Without tomatoes.
Without tomatoes. The tomatoes are even alien to Nigeria. They're an import. They're not traditional. That's the ironic thing.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I mean, what's it called? When you go to restaurants, like so-called Ritz Hotel, the posh restaurants in London and all that, they always have intercontinental dishes. And I went to a restaurant last week. I was thinking like, oh, intercontinental dishes. Let me look for a Nigerian restaurant, a Nigerian food on the list. But there was none. There was none on the list. Why do you think most big restaurants don't put Nigerian foods on their international dishes?
Well, because we haven't promoted our dishes. We haven't. My children's primary school had jollof rice on the menu, and it was a private school full of mostly white kids. But the cook was from Ghana, So she put jollof rice on the menu, and sometimes they had puff puff. My kids would come back and say, "Oh, we had jollof today." They're really happy, and Christina made puff puff. And the Igbo kids liked it. But they called the jollof orange rice, which was quite funny.
Yeah.
So they just don't know. People don't know. I remember years ago, even before I had children, I made some beans for a friend of mine. She came around with her fiance, and he ate it, and he said to me, "Oh my God, this Nigerian beans are the best thing in the world." So for her birthday, I thought, oh, it would be nice if I bought her all the ingredients, basically. And then she was like, "Oh, I don't know what to do with it." I said, "You see me." So anyway, I wrote a recipe, but I wrote recipe the way Nigerians write recipes, Put the beans in, do this, do that. So she was like, "It's like a shopping list." So I literally had to say, put 200 grams of beans, 1 onion. Do you understand? That's the way.
Like explain to her.
Explain everything. So, and then, we don't have that many Nigerian cookbooks out there. Mine is one of the few. And I think we just, like I said, we just don't promote our food. They don't know about it. I mean, now I can see, think that there's a market near me, and so, they have food stalls, and there's this Jamaican guy offering jerk chicken with jollof rice, and I just said to him, "No, it's fine. I don't want to. I'll have your rice and peas," because I wasn't sure whether he'd made it properly. So people are beginning to become a little bit more aware, and of course, there's Jamie Oliver making the jollof.
Yeah, of course.
So, there was another chef, an American chef, also did his own take on jollof. So at least I think with things such as jollof rice, yes, that could come onto the international menu. I don't see why suya can't. Suya is very similar to satay. Exactly. It's not, it's not scary. I think maybe, fisherman soup is a beautiful soup. I mean, it's up there with the bouillabaisse or, French bouillabaisse. It's beautiful. I think maybe the swallows might be a bit of a harder sell. But beans, like I just mentioned, beans, pottages, why not? Even abacha. Yeah. I've made abacha for a friend from Liverpool. In fact, I made her a vegan version because she's vegan.
Yeah. Did she like it?
Yeah, she loved it. She loved it. In fact, there was one time I made one of the I think it was the early pop-up, the first one, or maybe second one. I made nkwobi. And a Spanish girl ate it, but I didn't, because I knew she didn't like chili. I didn't put chili in hers. And she said, "This is really good." They took pictures, sent to their mum. And then another day I was cooking something. She happened to be here. And then she said, "What's that?" And I said, "Oh, cow foot." She said, "What do you mean cow foot?" So I said it in Spanish, and she goes, "You eat that?" And I said, "Yeah, so do you. You've eaten it before." So she went, "Oh, okay. Yeah, it was good." Yeah. So it was fine. She didn't know what she was eating. And I had baka in it and everything, and ogili. The only thing is I didn't put chili in hers. She loved it. And even, it was a bit of a shock for her to know later, weeks later, what she'd eaten, but it didn't really bother her. And I said to her, "You guys eat strange things too,
How can we, for example, someone was asking me, I gave one of my friends one of the stew I took away from the Nigerian pop-up. Yeah. So he was asking me, how can I be able to get stock load of this kind of stuff? Is this something I can buy in Tesco's or Sainsbury's? And I was like,
well, yeah, you can buy it from me for now.
So how do people get in touch with you then if they wanted something?
They can get in touch. They can reach me through my website, executivemamaput.com, one word. Facebook, same thing. Look for my name, NKY, and then my surname, IWEKA. It would be great if we could have, ready prepared meals from our food in supermarkets. A cousin of mine was saying, "Why don't you do that?" And I said to him, first of all, I'm not set up to do it. I would have
what
to
do you mean by that? What do you mean you're not set up?
I couldn't produce enough for them. I just haven't got the capacity. I would have to find like a factory, because there's some factories that do that. So they would cook your recipe for you.
Oh, wow.
And then manage all the logistics. But I'm not even sure it's really something I want to do, because my food's not for mass market. It really isn't. Sometimes people are a little bit surprised that what I charge until they eat the food. So like yesterday, I made onubu. I think you saw the video
Yeah,
with
yeah, I
his
do.
friends. Yeah. And after the video stopped running, he said to me, the reason why I like your soup is there's always something in it. There's always a little. Every mouthful, there's something, and you don't know what it's going to be. Whether it's going to be fish or meat. There's small pieces. There's big pieces. He said it's not like when I go to other restaurants or to Nigerian restaurants, and even if you order assorted meat, you get one shaki, one. That's not my food. Is just brimming. It's overloaded, as they would say.
Yeah.
So it's obviously an expensive way of cooking. So it's not suited to mass market, and I don't know how to cook any other way. I can't, because for me, cooking and food is an expression of love. So I'm giving you plenty, and I can't take away. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean,
So that's my problem.
so your brand is for a selected few. Is that what would you would say?
Yeah, or no, of course it's open to everybody. But what I'm saying is, don't expect to see what you see elsewhere, because my food's not like that. Is what I'm trying to say. So you wouldn't get like one piece of meat. I don't even count the meat. I just chuck it all in. Like if you were to order a pot of soup from me now, I'm not going to count and say 15 pieces of chicken. I don't. I just go,
So how far do you send your orders to? I mean, is it within the UK or limited
Well,
to London?
the furthest my food has been Kenya, and I haven't even been to Kenya.
Oh wow!
I know, it's amazing. With that one, she asked me to put them in individual containers. Normally, I don't do that. I do them in big containers and then freeze them. So I froze all of them for her, and they got there safely. We think it was egusi soup, okra soup. Can't remember if I made rice, stew. It was quite a variety of things because she was going to be working. Kind of work she was doing was going to take her to different places, and she wasn't always sure of the cooking facilities. So it was to help her, and then also she was very busy. And I know even my famous plantain and bacon muffins went along as well.
Oh wow!
And some jars of chili, in fact, I've just made some more chili for her because she's going to Kenya again this week to take to her Kenyan friends because they loved it.
I mean, so we should expect you exporting Nigerian foods to international markets.
Yeah, I had a guy that came, a Belgian guy that came to one of the pop-ups, and he said, could I make him suya? Because he was going back the next day, and I said to him, I'm not going to be able to do it because by the time everybody goes, it's probably going to be like 3 a.m. So I won't be able to do it in time for him. But what I did say, he's got my number, and whenever they have big parties, they can order food, and I'll basically put it on the Eurostar, and they pick it up at the other end. So that sort of thing I can do.
I mean, but I was thinking Nigerian pop-up is going to start exploding to exponential rates. Like we'll be having like 500 people coming for a Nigerian pop-up. Do you think you'll be able to handle that kind of crowd when it comes to that?
I don't know about 500, maybe 100, maybe 200. I don't know about 500. But it's a matter of scaling, isn't it? So I wouldn't be able to do it all myself. I'd have to get people in and logistics. I think with that sort of thing, anyway, what one would do would be actually open it out a bit more so that it's not just me. There'll be other chefs, doing their own thing. So almost like a food festival.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I think part of the attraction, anyway, I don't think size is always big is always better. I think what people like is that it's quite, small and intimate. You know what I mean? They feel at home rather than thinking, oh my God, I don't know who's here. You can see everybody who's here.
So would you rather do Nigerian pop-up weekly then?
Weekly?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm getting old now. Takes me a week to recover. I put a lot of effort into it. Like this one, I'm about to start because I'm doing curry goats this time with Jamaican curry goat. But what we've done, we've also smoked some goat. We've home smoked some goat. So today I'm going to spice the goat up. Tomorrow I cook it, and then Saturday we eat it. So then all the flavors meld in. I call it my 3-day curry. So it works quite a lot before, during, and after. And my age recovery is a bit longer. So I think maybe the most every 2 weeks. So and besides, people get bored.
Yeah. And in summary, what you're trying to say is that you're trying to keep it close-knit, family size kind of Nigerian pop-up. Is that what you're saying?
Sorry, say that again. The line went a bit funny.
I think so. In summary, what you're trying to say is Nigerian pop-up is going to be forever a close-knit kind of family gathering.
No, not forever. I think, we've been trying out different things, trying out different recipes, trying out different, um, like I said, like I did the Yoruba one, I've done Efik, I've done Hausa, Igbo. So each time, I try and give a different, some different things. Obviously, there's some staples I have to keep. Like I have to keep the yam. The yam was meant to be a one-off,
Well,
and now I
that
have to
has to
keep
be
it.
there forever and ever.
I know. So now I have to do it all the time because
Yeah,
everyone's like, "Oh, I need that yam."
yeah,
So I guess we're trying to figure out, what people like, the sort of sizes, get it down to not a pat routine because that'd be boring, but and not a fine science because it can never be a fine science. But you know what I mean. So we know exactly what we're doing, but also we have considered doing bigger ones, away from my house. Yeah, it's finding the right location.
yeah.
But I don't think I would like it to be bigger than 100, 150. It's just a feeling I have. If it was going to be like, let's say you're 500, that would be, for me, that's more like a festival. So either in a big hall or in a park somewhere, there'll be music. Do you know what I mean? That's a whole different thing. It's almost like a food carnival,
So you're not doing it
The,
for profit, are you?
sorry?
You're not doing it for profit.
At the moment, no, I'm not. But I know, I need to discover my Igbo roots and start thinking about profits soon. For me, it's like market research at the moment.
Okay.
See what works. That's the way I look at it. But also, I'm building a following. I stop saying I because there's more than I've got someone I do it with. But we're trying to build a following as well. So then, hopefully, when we do move into a restaurant, everyone will come with us. I was speaking to somebody last week, and she said, "No, but even if you have a restaurant, you still have to do these ones in your house." I said, "Okay, maybe I'll do the ones in my house before." People I think really like this house thing. Coming to someone's house, and maybe it satisfies their voyeuristic tendencies. I don't know.
So what are your future plans? 5 years, where do you see Nigerian pop up before we go?
Well, like I said, I would like to have I would hope at least 3 restaurants by then. Should have written some more books,
Yeah.
and maybe my own TV show.
That'll be good though.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm still thinking of the format because people keep saying to me, I should think about. I don't. Again, I don't want it to be like a box standard cooking format. I think one of the live Facebook videos I did gave me an idea what the format would be because of the reactions I got from people. Yeah.
So we should expect more books. Quickly tell us about your books. Anyways, I think you have about 3 books in the market.
Well, no, I have the big one, which I still haven't published, but I think I figured out what I'm going to do with that one. The one that's available right now is Quintessentially Efik Recipes, and it's available on Amazon. Quintessentially Igbo Recipes is on the way. It has to be finished by the end of the year, so I'm working on that. And then after that, I may take a break from the regional ones and not quite sure what I'm going to call it yet, but if you think of it as quintessentially EMP, quintessentially Inky, so that's where I now, bring in some of my more experimental stuff because people want to know, how do you make your plantain muffins? Some of the other things I do, the small chops I do, because I don't do box standard small chops. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I might do one of those books because even sometimes when people eat my food, they say, "Oh, is it in that recipe book?" And I'm like, "Well, no, because that one is just Efik food." So, and then I'll probably go back to the regional ones. There's demand for like healthy eating as well.
Exactly, I was going to say that.
Yeah. So, for example, I haven't announced it yet, but I'm writing a monthly column for a Nigerian magazine called Interview, and so like this month they want me to write about healthy food and diets.
Saying the next couple of years we should expect a restaurant from Inky Weka, right?
Fingers crossed.
All right. Thank you.
But that's if you all can, make sure you patronize it. I think there's definitely a need and a market for. I think I've shown it with the pop-ups. People wouldn't normally go out. There's a need for a slightly more upmarket Nigerian restaurant, which is not too snooty, still friendly.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Nice talking to you.
No problems, man.
All right. See you Saturday.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you very much.